Hello, dear friends. Let's continue reading Bhagavad-gita as it is. Last time we read a few texts from the first chapter. Chapter number 1, observing the armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. We read text 36, 37 and 38. And today we will try to read a few more texts from the first chapter. Let's read the texts 36, 37 and 38 to remember what was there, and then we will have something new. Text 36. Sin will overcome us if we slay such aggressors. Therefore, it is not proper for us to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and our friends. What should we gain, O Krishna, husband of the goddess of fortune? And how could we be happy by killing our own kinsmen? Text 37-38. O Janardana, although these men, their hearts overtaken by greed, see no fault in killing one's family and quarreling with friends, why should we, who can see the crime in destroying the family, engage in these acts of sin? Alright, so let's try text number 39. I will try to read Sanskrit, then we will read the translation, purport, and we will discuss it a little bit. After that, we will try to read something from Bhagavad-gita notes and a little purport and a purport by Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur. Kula kshaya pranashyanti, kula dharma sanatana, dharma naste kulam kritsnam, adharmo bhibhayat uta. Translation. With the destruction of the dynasty, the eternal family tradition is vanquished, and thus the rest of the family becomes involved in irreligion. Purport. In the system of Varnashrama institution, there are many principles of religious traditions to help members of the family grow properly and attain spiritual values. The elder members are responsible for such purifying processes in the family, beginning from birth to death. But on the death of the elder members, such family traditions of purification may stop, and the remaining younger family members may develop irreligious habits and thereby lose their chance for spiritual salvation. Therefore, for no purpose should the elder members of the family be slain. Yes, this is a very serious argument by Arjuna. Here, Arjuna says that if the elder members of the family are vanquished, are killed, the family tradition is vanquished. And it means that other generations will become involved in irreligious activities. In this purport, Srila Prabhupada says that the whole system of Varnashrama institution is designed so that the religious traditions are kept within the family, and they help new generations to attain spiritual values. The elder members of the families are responsible for purification and spiritual advancement of the new generation. And this system helps all the members of the family become stronger in spiritual aspect of their life. But if if the elder members of the families are killed, these traditions may stop, which is a serious problem for the younger generations, as they don't have proper leadership, and they may be involved in irreligious acts and habits. So, as a bottom line, the elder members of the families should not be slain. In the Bhagavad-gita notes, we see that if the elder members of the family are killed, the traditions, the religious traditions may stop, and thus the rest of the family becomes involved in irreligion. And what does Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur say about this? Text 39. With the destruction of the family, the eternal proper conduct of the family is destroyed. When that dharma is destroyed, the family is completely filled with adharma. Interesting translation. The purport: the right conduct maintained by the family, which has passed down from many generations, Sanatanau Kalau Dharmau, will be destroyed with the destruction of the family. Kula Kshaya. So we see that this N, it's like Sh. Kula Kshanam. Interesting translation. The destruction of the family, it causes the destruction of dharma. The destruction of the family, the eternal proper conduct of the family is destroyed. Yes, so if the family tradition is destroyed, it means that the dharma is destroyed. And when the dharma is destroyed, the family will be involved in adharma. Very serious. the right conduct maintained by the family, which has passed down the many generations, Sanatana, will be destroyed with the destruction of the family. Yes, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says about the destruction of the Dharma. When the elder members of the family are killed, the younger generation will be involved in the acts of adharma, and thus the whole family is destroyed. Next, text 40. Adharmabhibhavat Krishna pradushyanti kulastriyaha strishu dushta suvarshneya jayate varnasankaraha. The translation: when irreligion is prominent in the family, O Krishna, the women of the family become polluted, and from the degradation of womanhood, O descendant of Vrishni, comes unwanted progeny. Purport: good population in human society is the basic principle for peace, prosperity, and spiritual progress in life. The Varnashrama religious principles were so designed that the good population would prevail in society for the general spiritual progress of state and community. Such population depends on the chastity of and faithfulness of its womanhood. As children are very prone to be misled, women are similarly very prone to degradation. Therefore, both children and women require protection by the elder members of the family. By being engaged in various religious practices, women will not be misled and into adultery. According to Chanakya Pandit, women are generally not very intelligent and therefore not trustworthy. So, the different family traditions of religious activities should always engage them, and thus their chastity and devotion will give birth to a good population eligible for participating in the Varnashrama system. On the failure of such Varnashrama dharma, naturally the women become free to act and mix with men, and thus adultery is indulged in at the risk of unwanted population. Irresponsible men also provoke adultery in society, and thus unwanted children flood the human race at the risk of war and pestilence. Yeah, probably this is one of the most serious arguments by Arjuna, one of the heaviest arguments, and it is true. Arjuna says, when irreligion is prominent in the family of Krishna, the women of the family become polluted. Yes. When there are no traditions in the family, when there are no elderly people in the family who protect these traditions, the girls and young women and women of this family they start to think of themselves as free to act in whatever way they want. And usually, by thinking this way, they become involved in different acts which are not so good for themselves and for the family as well. And Arjuna says that with the degradation of womanhood, the unwanted population, unwanted progeny come. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada says that the well-being, prosperity, peace, and spiritual progress of society depends on good population. In other words, it is quite impossible to expect prosperity, peace, spiritual progress in society flooded by bad population. The Varnashrama institution was designed so that the good population prevails for the well-being of all society, of the state and community. And such good population is a basic principle for good spiritual progress of the whole society. But when the elders of the society are slain, as Arjuna says here, so that the family traditions are destroyed and women will act according to what they want. And as a result of this, the bad progeny prevails. Srila Prabhupada quotes the Chanakya Pandit, and Chanakya Pandit says that women, generally speaking, are very prone to be misled, so they are not trustworthy, and according to Chanakya Pandit, women are generally not very intelligent and therefore not trustworthy. What does this mean, intelligent in this way? Women are very intelligent when it comes to earning money. We see that women can be very good business ladies. They can be wonderful scientists. They nowadays can become astronomers. And many other one very intelligent professions, the professions which require intelligence. Women work nicely there. But what does Chanakya Pandit mean here? Women are generally not very intelligent and therefore not trustworthy. Well, this is my speculation, of course. There is a difference in thinking. There is a difference between something pleasant for us and unpleasant, and there is difference between something um, useful for us and something not useful. For example, we can say that eating a cake is something pleasant for us, but fasting for a day or two is unpleasant. So I would better eat a cake than to be on a diet without food for 1 or 2 days for the benefit of my body. So this is one aspect, but if we have a fasting day or 1 or 2, we feel better in the end. So we need to have this difficult day or two for the benefit of our body. And this is called intelligence, to sometimes have austerity for the sake of a good result in the end. And probably Chanakya Pandit says about intelligence as to devote our efforts to spiritual advancement and not material advancement. Women are very smart and intelligent in terms of material advancement. They can earn money, they can have a lot of sense gratification for the body, but the intelligence is about gaining spiritual strength. And in this way, they should be led, they should be protected for their own well-being. And this should be done by either their fathers, their husbands, or uh, their sons who got this spiritual education. So the different family traditions of religious activities should always engage them. Yes, women should be protected for their own welfare. And this is a part of Varnashrama system. If they are not protected, they tend to to become free, as we see today. Nowadays, that women, they want to be free and they do whatever they want. And thus, they mix with men, thus adultery is indulged, and the unwanted population is everywhere. Irresponsible men also provoke adultery in society. Yes, irresponsible men will suffer their consequences for their actions. Although they are not smart to understand that the consequences of their actions will follow. Thus, the unwanted children flood the human race at the risk of war and pestilence. All right. Text 40 says, women polluted. When irreligion is prominent, the women in the family become polluted. And Chanaka Pandit says that women need protection. Why women need special protection? It's because they are less intelligent, less trustworthy, and prone to degradation. And how they are protected? By engaging in religious principles, either by father, by husband, or son. If they are not protected, it leads to adultery and Varna Sankara. What is Varna Sankara? From degradation of women comes unwanted progeny. Varna Sankara has three effects. First, its risk of war and pestilence, and the hellish life for all society. For the whole family, ancestors fall down because Pinda Dana stops. For those who destroy family, all community projects and family welfare acts stop. Yes, about this we will read in the next text. What does Shri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur say about it? From prevalence of adharma, the women of the family become contaminated, O Krishna. When the women are spoiled, mixed varnas arise. Little purport, just one sentence. When adharma is prevalent, the women of the family will become spoiled. Pradushyanti. Yeah, probably this is SH. Pradushyanti. Adharma bhivavat Krishna pradushyanti kulastriyaha. By becoming adulterous. Yes, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he says about the mixture of varnas, so that the varna of Brahmana can mix with Kshatriya, Kshatriya can mix with Vaishya, Vaishya with Shudra, or Brahmana with Vaishya, and so on. This is called Varna Sankara, the mixture of Varnas. And thus the purity of Varnas is destroyed by the killing of the elders of the family. The traditions of the family is destroyed, and thus the womanhood is prone to degradation, and the unwanted progeny emerges, and thus the Varna Sankara arise. All Let's move on. Text 41st. Sankaro narakayaiva kula gnanam kulasya cha patanti pitaro hyesham lupta pindo daka priyaha. An increase of unwanted population certainly causes hellish life both for the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. The ancestors of such corrupt families fall down because their performances for offering them food and water are entirely stopped. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. According to the rules and regulations of fruitive activities, there is a need to offer periodical food and water to the forefathers of the family. This offering is performed by worship of Vishnu, because eating the remnants of food offered to Vishnu can deliver one from all kinds of sinful reactions. Sometimes the forefathers may be suffering from various types of sinful reactions, and sometimes some of them cannot even acquire a gross material body and are forced to remain in subtle bodies as ghosts. Thus, when remnants of prasadam food are offered to forefathers by descendants, the forefathers are released from ghostly or other kinds of miserable life. Such help rendered to forefathers is a family tradition. And those who are not in devotional life are required to perform such rituals. One who is engaged in the devotional life is not required to perform such actions. Simply by performing devotional service, one can deliver hundreds and thousands of forefathers from all kinds of misery. It is stated in Bhagavatam. I will try to read it. Devarshibhutapta nritam pitrinam na kinkaro nayam ritni cha rajan sarvatmana yaksharanam sharanyam gato mukundam parihritya kartam. Everyone who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of Mukunda, the giver of liberation, given up all kinds of obligation, and has taken the paths of all with and has taken to the path in all seriousness, owes neither duties nor obligations to the demigods, sages, general living entities, family members, humankind, or forefathers. Such obligations are automatically fulfilled by performance of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All right. This is a very serious argument in the hands of Arjuna not to fight, because this is all true. He says that the increase of unwanted population certainly causes the hellish life for the family and for those who destroyed the family traditions. It means that the people who passed away they will have to suffer the consequences of of not getting this uh, periodical food and water, which is in Sanskrit it's called pindu, or the shraddha. It is also called shraddha. When when uh, younger generation, they offer food and water to the elders, to the forefathers of the family. And also these generations who still lives, their life becomes um, irreligious, and so it is also a hellish life for them. The ancestors of such corrupt families fall down, which means they suffer from not getting their periodical food and water. And interesting, it's not just any food, it should be prasadam offered to the past away forefathers, because the performances for offering them food and water are entirely stopped. Yes. Srila Prabhupada says that uh, this is a rule for those who go the path of fruitive activities, that they have to offer food and water periodically to their forefathers of their family. By offering this, this offering is performed by worshipping the Vishnu, because eating the remnants of the food offered to Vishnu can deliver one from all kinds of sinful reactions. Yes, so the offering prasadam to the forefathers can release them from any kinds of sinful reactions they may suffer. Sometimes, due to some sinful reactions, some of the forefathers of the family cannot even acquire a gross material body, and they suffer in their ghostly bodies. But offering the remnants of prasadam food to them, these forefathers can be released from their ghostly or any other kind of miserable life. It shows that how important it is to worship the Lord Vishnu or Krishna. And it is also important to be caring about the forefathers. How to care about them is by offering periodical food and water to them. Such help rendered to forefathers in the family is a family tradition. Yes, so this is a family tradition. Srila Prabhupada also says that those people who are in devotional life are not required to perform such rituals. Why? Because they are engaged in devotional life, and this is sufficient for many and many hundreds and thousands of their forefathers to be released from all kinds of misery. Yeah, Srila Prabhupada says very strong words here. And the quote on Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.41: anyone who has taken the shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna, Mukunda, the giver of liberation, he is not obliged to worship demigods, sages, general living entities, family members, humankind, and forefathers, because he took this path of devotional service with all seriousness. Such obligations are automatically fulfilled by performance of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the question to each and every one of us. How serious are we in our devotional service? Text 41. Philosophy of Pindadan, which means the uh, offering of periodical offering of remnants of prasadam to forefathers and water. So this is based on rules and regulations of fruitive acts. This is a periodical. What is pindadan? This is an offer of periodical food and water to forefathers. What is the right? What is the correct process of this? It's worship of Vishnu, and the remnants of the food should be offered to forefathers. This is normal, this is right process. And the main principle here is to release the forefathers from many sinful reactions, ghostly existence, and etc. Who is not obliged for this? The person who is in devotional life. Why devotees are not obliged to follow this principle? Because devotional service relieves hundreds and thousands of forefathers from all misery. All right. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, as I see, he does not have any purport here, but we will read the text. Mixed caste in the family brings hell for those who have destroyed their family members. The forefathers fall, being deprived of pinda, and water offering. Mixed caste in the family brings hell for those who have destroyed their family members. Mixed caste in the family brings hell for those who have destroyed their family members. Yes, Arjuna speaks about himself. It's like if he kills the elders of the family, the traditions of this family can be forgotten, and his sons or the sons of other warriors who stay alive after the battle, they would not follow the tradition. or probably Arjuna spoke just in general here. Mixed caste of the family brings hell to those who have destroyed their family members. Yeah. So that the generation after the generation, they will bring only hellish life for their forefathers, who require for a periodical offering of prasadam food and water. And if this is not offered to them, they will suffer in they will suffer their sinful reactions. So how important is this tradition? All right, we can stop here. If you have any questions, please ask in the commentary section down below. I would be glad to hear what you think about this topic. We discussed the position of womanhood, that women should be protected. We discussed the uh, Varna Sankara, which Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur translates as mix of Varnas. Well, which is mix of Varnas in translation. And the sinful or bad consequences of Varna Sankara, when the um, pure Varnas are mixed and there is no um, there is no purity in different Varnas, and thus the tradition of following the Pindudana is forgotten. Thank you very much for reading Bhagavad Gita as it is with me. Hope to see you next time.